I want to get my lemon tart underway. So I've got a 20 centimetre loose bottomed flan tin. And what I'm going to do first of all is make some really rich pastry to go into that. So I've got 150 grams of plain flour, 75 grams of butter, and I've got a tablespoon of icing sugar. I'm also going to need an egg yolk and some iced water. What we're going to do first of all is we're going to sieve our plain flour and icing sugar together. Oh, we've got a fog going on. So this is a sweet dessert pastry. It's a bit trickier to handle, but it's a really nice sweet crispy pastry to put a nice soft filling into. So, I forgot to say, how are you, Libby, today?
I'm fine, I'm good. Sun's out, got my bikini on. I'm not stood here just solely in my bikini. I have got a skirt and t-shirt on, but...
Yeah, you got some sun on you, got some colour. It's really just like being in the Costa del Sol out there today.
It was very satisfying to wake up this morning and put on a bikini instead of pants. That's when you know it's summer.
What, straight to your bikini?
Yeah.
There we go. You can stand up there, I'll hose you down. It'll be like you're on a swimming pool.
I know, we've got a bit of a sand pit. I'll just dip my toes in that. Don't know if you can see out the window. There's our sand pit.
Yeah.
And
we have actually got a hot tub, so you can go in that later. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Right. I'm going to cut this butter into pieces. Now, you do need to use butter. This is all about flavour. Sort of a dessert that's just, you know, we're going to go for it. And this butter needs to be really cold. So the thing with pastry is you've got to keep everything as cold as possible. And you've got to handle it as little as possible. Yes, I think I'm faintly hysterical today. I think it's, I've been locked in for 3 weeks and it's almost
I think if anyone cares on my What's Libby Drinking Today series, I've got a diet get because I know how to live. Next time I might have a beer.
Yeah, as the day goes on. Right, what you'll see that I'm doing is I'm rubbing the fat into the flour. Now, coming back to what is important here. Really, really important to use just the tips of your fingers. If you, your wrist is a good place to tell temperature. If you feel the palm of your hand and then the tips of your fingers are much, much colder. So we just want to be using that. So think of it as a sort of finger massage with your thumb. And you want to rub all of this butter into the sugar and flour. And so this is a really nice fine crumb here.
Wait, come here. You've still not got rid of the bloody...
What, flour on my nose? Thanks, darling. That was over the pastry.
It's okay.
But never mind. It's only us eating it. There we go. Okay, now, you're in for a treat today, ladies and gentlemen, because this is one of my chicken's eggs. It was laid this morning. How lovely, because I write the name on it. Okay, so what we're going to do...
The name of the chicken.
Not the name on it, the date on it. Oh, it's all, honestly, I'm losing the plot big time today. Right, we are going to just look at that yolk.
These are the best eggs. These, I have to say though, they haven't got a lot of egg white. No,
because the yolk is so big. So, we're going to mix this yolk with a little bit of cold water. So you want about 2 tablespoons of cold water, as cold as possible. I don't know why I'm laughing. So, I always like a lemon, something lemony with my yeasted in and not chocolatey. What do you think, Liv?
Again, I'm just not, I don't know. A crumble, I'd always go for crumble. I can't really eat dessert anymore, so I just...
Anyway.
I'd say chocolate, though.
Yeah.
Chocolate for the win.
No, see, I like a bit of lemon. Right, so I've got about that much water in, and I'm just going to mix that up. Oops.
Oh, God, it's getting everywhere.
On a big worktop. And then I'm just going to put most of this in.
Lovely stuff.
And stir that together. And keep stirring, because you'll think, oh, I need a load more water. But in fact, this should come together into a nice dough. You might need just a few drops more water, but you won't need too much more. It is pastry bread. It's all about just sort of looking and getting to know what your mixture looks like. So I literally just kept stirring this. I haven't added any more water than that same quantity of egg yolk, water as the egg yolk. And when it begins to clump together like that, what you need to do is just bring it together with a couple of pulls with your hand, and you should be able to pretty much wipe the bowl clean. If it's feeling a bit sort of soft and gooey, so it's got a little bit warm at this stage, then make it into a disc shape, wrap it in cling film and put it in the fridge to harden up, okay? This, I've worked it quite quickly, so it's still quite cold. So I'm going to go straight to getting it into the flan tin. Now, like the floury worktop.
Your lemon tart is particularly good, though, I have to say.
Sorry?
Your lemon tart is very yummy.
What?
Your lemon tart is very yummy. Last time I give you a compliment, I'm joking.
Just not used to compliments, Libby, from you. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Right, so going on for that dish shape. Now, watch and learn, ladies and gents. So, what you don't want to do with pastry is roll it, because if you roll it, you stretch it. Stretched pastry shrinks back. We're going to bake this pastry blind, which means that we're going to bake it and cook it completely, and then put the filling in and cook it again, because a runny filling needs the pastry to be cooked before it goes in. If I've stretched this pastry, it's going to cook in the oven and end up about so tall, so there won't be enough room to put the filling in. So what we do is something called ridging instead, and that literally means pressing it, then turning it 90 degrees, pressing it, turning it, and keep reshaping as you go. And this is called ridging. And you pretty much want to roll the pastry just by ridging, not rolling. And always try and ridge in the same direction. And you can see, it's a little bit sticky there, you can see how that is growing. Whoops, try not to break it, just a little patchworking there. So we're nearly there. You want to make sure there's enough pastry to go at the side of the tin, and then give it a roll just once or twice right at the end. Now this is delicate, this pastry. It might rip a little bit, but there's no problem patching it. Now, if you put your rolling pin in the middle, pull the pastry back towards you, put the flan tin in place. You don't need to grease this because there's enough grease in the pastry, and literally just lay it over. Now the first thing you want to do is press down, or sort of push down, as much pastry as you possibly can. And again, resist the temptation to stretch it. So push all the way down. And then if you find an edge where there's obviously too much pastry like that, just roll a little bit of excess into a ball and use that to help you push it right down into the little grooves of the tin and right down to the bottom. So you've got that lovely sweet,
it's so yellow as well,
golden pastry. Okay, so literally you're almost pushing it down, so you're doing the opposite of stretching it, and this is really, really important. You've got that nice shape of the tin coming through the pastry. Okay, so when you've done that, you just want to pinch over the top. And then take your rolling pin and use that to cut
clever.
the edge of the pastry off. There we go. And Absolutely use those trimmings, push them together and just use those for a few jam tarts. Or just roll them out because it's a sweet pastry into little circles, cut them with a cutter, sprinkle them with a bit of sugar and bake them as biscuits. Now I'm going to fridge this for about 30 minutes to chill it.
Before blind baking
I'm going to bake it blind. So we're going to blind bake this pastry case. It's really cold now.
It's very chilly.
Make sure it goes onto a baking sheet so you've got the heat up as well as down. Now we're going to make what's called a cartouche. So I want a square of greaseproof paper. Fold it into the corner, a bit more origami. Make it, it's like you're doing one of those snowflakes at Christmas time. And then we're just going to clip off the edge to make a nice circle, and we're going to crunch it up, uncrunch it, and this will fit really nicely now into the corners. Okay, now I've got some ceramic baking beans, another thing in the kitchen that's older than you, Libby.
Yeah.
So they're a worthwhile investment because you can just.
Where'd you get them from?
Someone like Lakeland or online.
Mallets.
Yeah, mallets, and then just keep them in a jar. So you want them about a centimetre layer. Now I'm going to put this in at 180 for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to carefully lift out the baking beans and just put it back in for another 5 minutes to make sure I've cooked the base properly. So I'll show you at those different stages. This has had about 15 minutes and you can tell it's almost done because it's golden around the edges. Now very carefully, and don't touch these beans because they're boiling. Oh, something I forgot to say, if you haven't got any beans, just use dried rice or dried pasta, that'll be absolutely fine. These are great because they get very hot, so they cook from the top down as well, but in these circumstances, other things will do. Let me pop that in there. Right, it's a little bit soft still in the middle, so I'm literally going to put it back in for about 3 or 4 minutes just to dry out the base a bit. So I'm going to make my lemon filling ready to go in as soon as that pastry's completely cooked. I'm going to crack 3 nice large eggs into a jug. Do try and use a jug for this because it's easier to pour the filling into the tart, or make it in a bowl, put it into the jug. And I've got 100 grams of caster sugar. I'm just going to mix up here. Now at this stage I'm just going to swap for one of these little whisks to give that a really, really good mix until the sugar's dissolved. And then I'm going to put in 100 mils of cream. So it's about 1/3 of this tub. Looks glorious.
Not particularly healthy, but who cares?
Who cares? It's the celebration. Now I've got 2 lemons, which I'm going to quickly wash. And then I want to grate the rind of the lemons into the jug and then squeeze the juice in, which I'm going to do now. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm moving the lemon all the time that I'm grating. I'm not staying grating in one place, because I only want to take the very outside layer on. I don't want to grate into that white pith underneath. Then you want to just squeeze the juice of the lemons in, but don't do this until you're almost ready for the filling, because the lemon juice will make the egg set. Now, we do have the case of the disappearing, lemon juicer at the moment in this house. No idea where it is. So I'm just going to use a fork, but you just need to be careful to make sure you get any pips out, and then really get all of that juice in.
Of all the lemons.
Of all the lemons, and mix it as you go. Lovely and gold around the edge, no grey greasy patches in the middle, just a little hint of goldiness, just what we want. Keep it on the hot baking tray, and then I've got all my lemon, all my juice mixed in, and then carefully you want to pour this in, and then very, very carefully get it back into the oven, but you need to make sure you've reduced the oven temperature to 140 degrees, and you want to cook it for 30 minutes. So the aim is to get as much of that right up to the top as you possibly can. I can see a few rogue pips in there. I'm going to have to scoop out with a little teaspoon. If I had my lemon juicer, I wouldn't have to do that. So try really hard not to sort of slop it getting it into the oven. And you want it to set at a really low heat till it's just got a gentle wobble. And just for your information, Libby's drinks report has moved on now.
I want to squash now, so that's fun. So that's going to go into the oven now, yeah?
And we'll come back in half an hour. Here we go, lemon tart's out the oven. It actually had 30 minutes all told. After about 20 minutes, when you shook it, it still had a wobble in the middle. And this is just set, as you can see. So just let it cool down at room temperature, chill it, and then I'll show you how to take it out of the tin and sprinkle it with icing sugar.
And raspberries. This is very nice with raspberries.
Yeah, very nice. I've got some fresh raspberries just for it.
Beautiful.